Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chad Prather Show. I am so happy to see you here, and everything's going to be okay. I know we got a communist that's about to become mayor in New York City, but it's going to be okay. We still have a lot of patriots in the United States who are fighting for this country, including me and my team and a lot of other patriots here right outside of Portland, Oregon. That's where I'm based. My name is David Medina. I am producer David Medina at David Medina PDX across all social media. I'm filling in for Chad today. He is, I don't know. I'm starting to think he maybe is CIA. I don't know. This guy's always gone. He's always on planes. He's always doing, business deals. What is going on with Chad Prather? No, I'm just kidding. He's out there doing his thing, and he'll be back next week. We actually have an announcement for you pretty soon here. There's going to be some changes on the Chad Prather Show going forward. I think you guys are going to like it. A little bit of a switch up. I don't want to spoil too much, but I also don't want to put a lot on your mind today because we have a lot to talk about. This is Zohran Mamdani. Socialist, democratic socialist. Let me tell you something real quick. The biggest lie you will ever hear is the words democratic socialist. There's nothing democratic about socialism. There's nothing democratic about larger government, bigger government. Okay. And so when you think along the lines, and we're going to go into this in a little bit. Okay. I'm going to kind of just set the tone here. But when you think of communism, socialism, fascism, when you think of something like those, just think bigger government, just think more authoritarianism. Just think China today, and a lot of people will see China and they'll go, well, I've actually heard this term, democratic communism. They're actually floating that out, and you'll hear that on a lot of universities today, which is why you should stop sending your kids to college. But you'll hear a lot of things. I've heard this come out of a student's mouth before, democratic communism. Look at China. Look how prosperous they are. Go over to China. Go over to Hong Kong and go over and see how everything's just clean and blah, 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 blah. Guys, we are living in the age of deception right now. And these people are trying, the way that you destroy America or like the Roman Empire, what happened with the Roman Empire? It was destroyed from within, very similar to what we're seeing in the United States today. The United States and President Trump being elected, that is the only thing standing in the way of another Hitler, of another Nazi Germany. It is the only thing standing in the way of the New World or the globalists going crazy. And they're doing everything they can to piece by piece tear apart the United States, tear apart our Constitution. You even see a major party in the United States today, the Democratic Party, doesn't even believe in this thing right here. I keep it right next to me. The United States Constitution and other writings, everything we need to know about our country, everything we need to know about governing our country is right here. It's why our founding fathers, wrote the preamble to set the tone for what this country would look like going forward, because I'm going to tell you real quick, and just to be honest with you, capitalism and, our country, our constitutional republic, it's not a democracy. Our constitutional republic, is it a perfect system? No, capitalism isn't perfect. We've seen capitalism be exploited, and you're going to see people on the left that are propping up socialism and democratic socialism. You're going to see them point to the most extreme faults of capitalism. And the thing that they won't tell you is that a lot of people like us, like common sense, we agree with that. In fact, our country has put, our government has put a lot of, laws in place, antitrust laws to not allow capitalism to go crazy. Because the theme of this whole thing is, folks, is that there's no such thing as perfect people. If we had perfect people, socialism might work. Communism might work if we had perfect people running in this world, but we don't. And if you're like, well, we haven't tried. Yes, we have. Go talk to the people connected to Tiananmen Square, the massacre in 1989 in China, when Mao Zedong wiped out countless civilians because they opposed they were trying to have their voices be heard against the communist authoritarian government. Go look at the living conditions in Cuba right now with the socialist Cuba that they all like to talk about. These people just, oh man, I can't wait to bring Party Foul on, because these people just really don't know what they're talking about. And it's not that hard, actually, guys. I'm not some like historian or some scholar that's going to come on here and tell you that capitalism is perfect and everybody should be capitalist. I think capitalism is the best system we've had, and our track record has proven it. All you have to do is go look back, just do a little bit of research and go look at how socialism has affected countries. Go look at the living conditions. Go Venezuela. Venezuela, go look at the free grocery stores or the government-controlled grocery stores in Venezuela and how that worked out for them. You had empty shelves. You had people going hungry. It's the same kind of things that Zohran Mamdani is pushing in New York City. It's the same kind of thing. And it's actually crazy because he's exposing himself even more by coming out today and saying, well, I didn't say I wanted free grocery stores. I didn't say I wanted free, but I didn't say that, because that exposes his actual goal, which is communism, which is full government control. Okay. And that's basically the difference is when you think of socialism, communism is, yes, still private ownership, but the government kind of controls the means of productions and puts in place more, red tape and bureaucracy and more laws to control your small business. So it's really not private ownership, but it kind of is. It's literally one step closer to communism, which is full government control. And I'm gonna play a clip for you. If I'm not explaining it as eloquently as Chad Prather would, it doesn't have a way with words. It wasn't before the noise so good this morning, but we have a video for you to show you, like a 6-minute clip that this guy is gonna tell you exactly the difference between socialism and communism. And then I'm gonna comment on it and try to talk to people in layman's terms, because not a lot of people like to be talked to in big words, right? And so we try to dumb it down for you here on the Chad Prather Show, especially for Party Foul. Just kidding, Party Foul. I know he's listening. We can't hear him, but he can hear me. Anyways, communism, socialism never worked. It's never worked. And if you go, well, look at Finland, look at Sweden, people are not being honest with you. And, it just goes with the theme that the Bible says that we would live in an age of deception towards the end days, towards the end times. Evil will be called bad, bad would be called good, and deception would be running wild. And that is what we're seeing. That is what Zohran Mamdani embodies. That literally should be his campaign slogan, deception. Because he is deceiving the people of New York, and he's deceiving the American people and everybody that supports him, and people like Bernie Sanders and AOC. They're all deceiving you folks. And it's just crazy. We have clips for you here in a little bit of just some of these people that are like, yeah, I can't wait for free grocery stores. I can't wait. Oh my goodness, folks. Some of these people are just ushering in their own demise, and they have no idea what they're standing for. And there's a poll that actually came out where 800,000, I think, we'll show it to you in a little bit. 800,000 New Yorkers in a new survey said that they would leave New York City if Zohran Mamdani won the mayoral race. It is so have we forgot 9/11? I think we forgot. My goodness. Oh my goodness. If you don't know the power of indoctrination and of the power of brainwashing through years of brainwashing through the media and how much power that has and why we attack CNN so much and why you're seeing the product of it today. People are literally wanting socialism, communistic policies to come in and candidates. And not only do they want socialist candidates and communist candidates to come into their city, but one that is a radical Islamist. Zohran Mamdani has ties to radical Islam. He has been seen pictured with imams that literally call for not just persecution, but execution of gays and all these other groups that the left stands for. So I just want to leave you with, I just want to just let you know, just into your mind, one of the biggest deceptions also is that fascism, socialism, communism are all right-wing ideologies. No, they're not. No, they are not. They couldn't be more left. So if anybody talks to you and says, oh, that's a right-wing, fascist right-wing, see, they're trying to deceive you. They're trying to call us what they actually are. You saw it during COVID. You saw it during the election cycles. You saw what they did to Trump. They're trying to accuse President Trump and Christians, conservatives. They're trying to accuse the right of what they actually are. We all know it. But the only ones that seem to not know it are the ones that support the people on the left, these people that are still call themselves Democrats, that still support these politicians that do not care about them. Drives me crazy. I need Party Foul because I like when Party Foul Steve comes on here because he really calms me down. He has more of like a molasses kind of like a soft kind of tone where he just can listen. We need to do a before the noise, but with Party Foul. He may not really know, he really talk about things like Chad would, but at least it'd make you feel calm through his voice. Speaking of before the noise, are you guys watching that? Chad, I'm going to tell you, I messaged him this morning. I said, brother, you are so anointed. And Chad doesn't like to be, told that he's anointed. He doesn't like to take credit. He just likes to do what God tells him to do. That's why what I respect about him. That's why I love him. But if you guys aren't catching Before the Noise, I mean, my gosh, I got up about, 5-ish. Chad's going to give me crap for that, but 5-ish a.m. this morning. I kind of missed the thing. Thank God he was there because, I overslept. Anyways, we got there. We took care of everything. But it was so fun. Like I was just watching it and I was like, man, should I just take a little nap, to set my alarm for towards the end of the show? And I was like, no, man, I'm going to keep listening to this. And I was like, man, I mean, that was a powerful message on surrendering to God, not quitting, stop fighting against God, stop fighting against others to get where you want to go, but just surrender and listen to God. It was so good. If you missed this morning's Before the Noise, you can go to beforethenoise.com and listen to the latest episodes. You can go where podcasts are, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I believe the episode from this morning is up, so please go listen to it. It will really bless you. If you're not a Christian, you're on here and you're not someone that believes in God, that's okay. Listen to it anyways. It might just calm you. It might just make you calm with everything that's going on because your life, you're probably don't have a lot of peace in your life if you're not a Christian. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying that. I've tried that life, right? And as soon as I gave my life, I have a lot of like phlegm right here, right? Because it's that time of year here in Oregon. It's like we don't live in Florida. It's really cold, so I'm going to have a little bit of a congestion. So excuse me for that. But I'll just say that as soon as I gave my life to the Lord, it was like I had peace even through the hard times. So like and subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't already. Let's see if our overlays are working here. They are awesome. Like and subscribe to the channel, Chad Prather on Rumble and YouTube. And make sure you guys leave a comment. Leave a comment that helps the algorithm as well. If you don't want to leave a comment, just leave like an emoji or something. Leave a comment. Let us know. Leave us a 5-star rating on Apple and podcasts, wherever Apple and podcasts are offered or podcasts are offered. Usually, I think we're just on Apple and Spotify right now, I believe. And also, if you're in there, blow up the chat. I'll bring up some of your guys' chat today and see what you guys are saying out there. Throw those dancing bananas, baby. Throw those dancing bananas in there. I know, Linda, you're in there. Blow up the chat for us. Let's get this going because a lot of people need to be educated on this garbage that is being pushed, not just in New York right now with Zohran Mamdani, but also this garbage that's being pushed on our kids. I mean, this stuff is being pushed heavily on our kids in college. I've been to college. I went to college right smack dab in the middle of Portland, Oregon. I mean, as left and as radical as it gets. And some of the stuff that you're seeing, I mean, we're seeing candidates have a chance like Zohran Mamdani because people are actually supporting him who got so brainwashed in education. And I don't know what these older liberals are doing. Like we're going to show a clip of these like people in their 60s, like, oh, I can't wait for free grocery stores. I don't know what they're doing. Like they should know better. I mean, I'll never understand a liberal boomer. You've lived through so much time. How do we have more common sense than you? How does someone like me or someone like Nick Shirley or someone like, the younger generations, how do we have it figured out more than you? Like you've been alive since like World War II, dude. You should know better. All right, let's bring him on. Everybody's favorite. Do we still call you that, Party Foul Steve? Everybody's favorite redneck, Party Foul Steve. Let's bring him on right now.
I'm not sure about the, redneck. I'm definitely, country. I would call myself country. I just grew up in the country. I like the country. I live in a city now, the big city of Conroe, Texas. But I'm minutes away from the country where I try to escape to every chance I get. So,
Party Foul, are you okay? There's a little bit more calm in your voice than usual. I don't know. Are you okay?
it is. You made me feel good. You said I was the calming voice, and yesterday I was the panicked voice. Everybody got a big kick out of me trying to be solo. But there was a lot going on over here on this side computer, in and out of everyone and stuff like that. I started to panic. I didn't even know if I was on for a little bit. So
yeah,
it gets a little crazy, stuff like that.
Oh, I feel you, man. We appreciate you. And I did mean that, man. You remind me of my mom, and I'm not trying to get you all. I'm not trying to be gay this morning, but the gays that supposedly Zohran stands for, but he somehow, like his religion, believes in like persecuting them. Anyways, like, bro, every time that I'm like we've been flustered off camera, like if me and Chatter, you always come in with this like soft, like just like a different perspective. Like I've talked to you about dating and stuff. I've talked to you about all kinds of things going on in my life, and you've always just been like
raising children, everything, because it's always nice to talk to someone because we always I have people that I talk to that have already been through some things, and they give me some guidance and stuff like that. So if I can pass on any little nugget of wisdom, and it's wisdom because wisdom comes from just going through the crap and dealing with it, and then you learn some things. You learn what to do, but you main thing is you learn what not to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, you have a good heart, man. You just got to learn to, not be late to stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Bro, did you?
I was on time this morning. It was like, where was
You were.
David? Where was David?
You were, man.
News guy.
Let me ask you this, Party Foul. Have you been following this whole Zohran Mamdani? What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've actually been following that a lot, and I think I think they're fixing to get a socialist. I say a socialist. Yeah, I think more communism than socialism is headed to New York City. And if it wasn't so tragic, it would be funny.
Yeah.
And but it is. And then it's like, what's going to happen to New York? I mean, I haven't wanted to go to New York since I guess since COVID. And once COVID hit, we used to go to New York. Shoot, like once a month we were up there doing Fox News, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now I have no desire to go.
Yeah, it's sad. That's where Trump's from. He's from Queens, and it's sad. I mean, it has gotten so bad. First of all, let's get into the top stories. I want to show you what President Trump has said about this race. You never thought you would see President Trump endorsing a Democrat for mayor of New York. You never thought, and that's more because the Republican candidate's pretty weak and kind of unhinged, to be honest. I don't like the Republican candidate over there in Curtis Silwa is his name. Just kind of unhinged. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know who's running his campaign, but it's just a complete disaster that Republicans, including President Trump, are pushing for Andrew Cuomo, the former mayor, the dude that killed all those nursing home people.
No one endorsed him, so he had to start his own political party to even get on the ballot. And my understanding is they can't even find him on the ballot. You have to go through a couple of columns or pages and some blank spaces to find his name.
Well, let's see what President Trump had to say. So, I posted this yesterday, Party Foul. Let me zoom this in for people who are watching. I said this yesterday. They've learned nothing since 9/11. It's 2025, and even President Trump says he'd rather back a Democrat, Andrew Cuomo, than the communist. He is a communist, Zohran Mamdani, or Republican Curtis Silwa in tomorrow's New York mayoral race. If Zohran wins and NYC is done, I truly believe that. You already saw the mass exodus. We're going to show you the poll here in a little bit of 800,000 New Yorkers said they would leave New York City if Zohran was elected. And this is what Trump had to say yesterday. Let me blow this up. I'm going to blow this up for you guys that are watching on YouTube and Rumble. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. My name is David Medina, producer David Medina, filling in for Chad Prather. He is traveling today. Hold on one sec. Woo! Man, I'm getting something, Steve. Something coming down with something. So President Trump had this to say. I mean, this was really shocking to a lot of people. He said, if communist candidate Zohran Mamdani wins the election for mayor of New York City, it is highly unlikely that I will be contributing federal funds other than the very minimum as required to my beloved first home, because of the fact that as a communist, this once great city has zero chance of success or even survival. It can only get worse with a communist at the helm, and I don't want to send, as president, good money after bad. It is my obligation to run the nation, and it is my strong conviction that New York City will be a complete and total economic and social disaster should Mamdani win. His principles have been tested for over 1,000 years. That's kind of what we were talking about in the opening. Just look at history. And never once have they been successful. I would much rather see a Democrat who has a record of success win than a communist with no experience and a record of complete and total failure. He was nothing as an assemblyman, ranked at the bottom of the class, and as mayor, potentially, again, the greatest city in the world. Hey, he has no chance to bring it back to its former glory. We must also remember this. This has kind of surprised me, Party Phil. I mean, directly called out Curtis Silwa. A vote for Curtis Silwa, who looks much better without the beret, is a vote for Mamdani. Whether you personally like Andrew Cuomo or not, you really have no choice. You must vote for him and hope he does a fantastic job. He is capable of it. Mamdani is not. What are your thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, well, my first thought is leave the beret at home. He doesn't need to wear a beret all the time. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry, it doesn't look good. I know that'll piss a bunch of Army Rangers beret wearers off, but it's just not a good look for.
I I will say this: don't think that just because Trump endorsed Andrew Cuomo, let's not remember who he is and the party that he comes from. This guy is not. He's literally just the actual definition of the lesser of two evils. He's still evil. He still stands for democratic policies that have destroyed cities like New York City, like Chicago, like Portland. Andrew Cuomo is he's not even close to being conservative. It's just that he is the less extreme than Zohran Mamdani. Go ahead, Steve.
It's better the devil you know than the one you don't.
Yeah.
Because you know Como. You know what to expect. And even though it's bad, it's not as bad as it could be.
Absolutely. And
here, know with the other guy.
Here's the thing. Andrew Cuomo was the guy that was, accused of, it's funny, he's coming out this morning on election day saying, like actually apologizing for the nursing home and kind of using the same excuse that all these other actual fascist Democrats did during COVID to us, making us have a card to show our papers to go eat somewhere or wear a mask. We didn't know. I was listening to the experts. No, you weren't. There were other experts that were, combating this whole COVID narrative, and you ignored them and went with your side because of why? Because I don't know, maybe the pharmaceuticals, maybe the big, what is it called? The big pharma was in your pocket. I mean, if you look at how many millions of dollars Pfizer was giving to these Democrats, and they were doing, remember the brought to you by Pfizer while you're watching football. Don't say that you were listening to experts. You weren't. You were protecting your political position, and you're protecting your pocketbook. You're protecting your donors, your special interests. All of that fascism we saw during COVID against the American people and against small businesses was inexcusable. And honestly, I'm still pissed about it, Steve, because people still haven't really been held accountable for that. And Andrew Cuomo being one of those guys. But any thoughts, Steve, before we move on?
Yeah, it's he's not going to be held accountable. He's probably not going to win the mayoral race either, and he'll float away in history.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about here in a little bit what that's going to look like if Zohran Mamdani wins. It's going to be a complete disaster for New York. I cannot believe this guy even has a chance. But here we are. I mean, we're seeing all over the nation the product of indoctrination, years of education, indoctrination, and brainwashing through the media. It's why the media, we always say the media is the enemy of the people. And a lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't say that. No, they are the enemy of the people, because you're seeing guys like Zohran Mamdani actually have a chance to become mayor of one of America's biggest and most successful cities. But it's good to know, though, this clip right here, this New York resident, he picks the Trump-endorsed Andrew Cuomo in the mayoral race. This gives me a little hope, because there's a lot of New Yorkers that are seeing right through this. This was on CNN. Check this out.
City resident, tell me why you decided to vote for Andrew Cuomo.
I decided to vote for Andrew Cuomo because he has a lot of experience. He's been the governor of New York, and I feel like we don't want our city to go in a direction that's not, important for businesses as well as our regular everyday New Yorkers.
Obviously, Mr. Cuomo is not the front runner, according to just about every poll that's out there. You look at Zohran Mamdani is the front runner. What do you think of him as a candidate? And none of the things that he was talking about appeal to you: affordable housing, making health care for children more affordable, free buses. None of that appealed to you and what you were looking for in a mayor?
Well, I don't think nothing is free. With a background in finance and economics and business, I know that it's important that you have to pay for things. Even if you're paying for it at a discounted rate, you need to be able to pay for it. I don't think nothing is given free. I think it's important that we all should be able to work. I think job creation is the key to all of it. We must create jobs. We must put our people back to work. New Yorkers need to work.
This guy has it figured out. This kind of gives me hope, but at the same time, I would argue, Steve, that the people that support people like Andrew Cuomo is what gave us Andrew Cuomo and other politicians like Nancy Pelosi, all these guys. They gave us Zohran Mamdani because they refused to check their own extreme part of their party. I would even say they're extreme too, but I mean, they're a bunch of liars. I'm not taking them off the hook, but they brought us Zohran Mamdani. Andrew Cuomo brought us that. It's so crazy how we're like living in this world. I feel like I'm in the freaking Twilight Zone, dude, where it's like, oh, we're endorsing Andrew Cuomo. It's just insane.
Just the number of people that just don't it's almost like they don't want a job, but they want to get paid. They want to take from other people, and they all live in New York City. It's crazy. And the people who do work and have business, the capitalists, they'll be leaving New York by the hundreds of thousands, even more than they already are. So
absolutely. And you know, I'm gonna we talked about Andrew Cuomo. I told you he came out this morning. We have this clip right here where he was apologizing. He didn't know. We're not letting this pinhead off the hook either. This guy has been a complete disaster for New York. New York's the reason why it is because of guys like him that were in charge. Let's play the clip. He came out apologizing today on election day, came out and apologized for the whole nursing home scandal where he sent 15,000 elderly to the nursing home during COVID to their deaths.
Worst. Nobody knew what we were dealing with. I had the best health experts from around the globe giving us advice. We followed the best advice. We followed the federal guidance.
No, you didn't!
And people died in a horrific
if he
way.
was following Fauci, he
no
was sure what, that's
visitors
exactly
allowed
what
into
was going to
nursing
happen.
homes. And I apologize for any family that lost a loved one during that time. It was on my watch. And I understand how terrible it was.
Yeah, we really were first and worst. I remember calling my family down in South Carolina saying, Mom and Dad, do not go to that party. You don't understand what's happening here. Y'all need to stay away from your friends right now and stay at home. People are losing their loved ones. My doormen, many of them lost like their dad, their mom. It was really sad. Janice Dean lost both of her in-laws because of the...
Listen, Fox, I love y'all. I mostly support you guys, but like, what are we doing here? Why are we talking in a way that's like we're letting this guy off the hook? If I'm one of these panelists, Brian Kilmeade, you should be speaking up and saying, Andrew Cuomo, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about? You didn't know. What are you talking about? You were like, why aren't they pressing this guy? Why are we letting Cuomo off the hook? Maybe they're trying to get him elected. I don't know. Maybe
they probably are trying to get him elected, and maybe they don't need to press him right now. Let him go ahead, and he's showing accountability. At least to some sort. No, it's not that we're not going to tar and feather him or anything like that. But he's got to get out there and put that apology out.
Well, let me tell you something. I can't say what I really want to say because I don't want to get Chad's YouTube banned. But let's be honest. A lot of these people didn't die from the vid. They died from the. You know what I mean? Like they died from the solutions that were being given by our government. And that's why I got to say, President Trump, I love you, but I don't agree with Operation Warp Speed. I don't agree with you touting those things. I just don't agree with it. I still love you. I still voted for you 3 times, sir. And I think that you are making America a better place. I hope that you keep going. But yeah, I don't agree. I can't stand with Trump on Operation Warp Speed. I just can't.
Yeah, but he was kind of, that was the place where he did bow to the pressure from the left.
And he let Fauci have free reign. And I get the mindset there. It's like, leave it up to the experts. But it's like, man, why weren't we listening to people like Peter McCullough? Why weren't we listening to people like Dr. Robert Malone? Why were we discounting those voices and kind of just listening to one side of that argument during COVID? I just, I don't know. It's like we're in the Twilight Zone. We got Fox and Friends that are letting them off the hook. Anyways, we love Fox and Friends. They're not being very friendly this morning, but I'm going to get myself in trouble, Steve.
Yeah, it's okay. We understand. It's not
so
any different than anyone else.
I want to show you guys this video because a lot of you are kind of confused between communism, socialism. I could flap my gums here all day and tell you what, but I think that there are people out there that explain it. I mean, it's basically, it's if you're thinking of communism, capitalism, socialism, free enterprise, all that kind of stuff, just think, is the government going to be bigger under this system or smaller? What was America founded on? America was founded on checks and balances, limited government, get government out of the way. That's what our founding fathers wholeheartedly believed. And that's why they wrote the Constitution the way they did. Limited government, get government out of the way, let the people be free. Yes, the government should be there to make sure things are, going smoothly, law and order, all that kind of stuff, make sure they're supporting the people. But our government was never designed, the United States was never designed to have big government in control. That is not we the people. That is not freedom. That is not individual liberty. That is a socialist, communist, fascist takeover. And that's exactly what you're seeing from the left and people like Zohran Mamdani. Socialism is just one step away from communism. So I'm going to show you guys this video. And because I really want, let's go to the top stories that we're already in. Didn't mean to hit that, but I was just having a good time, man. Actually, Steve, I haven't eaten any food since Sunday. I'm on a 36-hour fast, and I just drank coffee, and it's got me. I feel like Hunter Biden on crack right now.
Yeah, I do that a couple of times a year. I do about a 36 or 48-hour fast. So,
okay, so difference between socialism and communism. This clip is going to be really informative to you guys, and we're going to stop it and give comments because I want to make sure that we're all clear on what is being said here. Okay.
Russian Revolution, a great change happened. The Russians, through a revolution in 1917, took over, closed the stock market, made industries the property of the government to be run on behalf of all the people, and instituted a planning system to distribute things and subordinated the market. They never got rid of the markets, but the markets were less important than the government planning apparatus. And in a way, this was a key moment, a kind of epiphany for socialists. For the first time, they had power in a country. They had the power of the government in a country called Russia. And the whole socialist movement then was forced into a kind of a choice. Is socialism what is going on in Russia after 1917? Every socialist had to ask. And basically the socialist movement split. One part of it said yes, the future of socialism is in Russia because that's where the socialists won. They must have been doing something right. They won. They took power. That's the future. But there were other socialists who weren't happy with what was happening in Russia, who didn't like Lenin and the leaders of the Russian Revolution, who were skeptical, who didn't want to do the takeover of industries the way the Russians were doing it, who didn't.
Listen, I know that you might be falling asleep. Just stay with us here, okay? Just extract key points from this, and we're going to clear it up for you. So just keep watching. You're going to learn something here.
Want to suppress markets in favor of planning the way the Russians did it. So this split happened. It was really over the Russian Revolution and what it meant. And those who supported the Russian Revolution said, we want to take a different name. So they were socialists, but they wanted to call what they did something else. So they took the name communists. That's where it happened. It all happened in the early 1920s. Those who were skeptical went in a different direction, held on to the name socialists. Later on, they changed it and called what they were social democrats. They called what they were pushing for social democracy. And here's what it meant. You see it in countries like Scandinavia. You see it in countries today, for example, in the Netherlands, or you see it in Portugal. It's when socialists take over in a society, usually by elections, and what they do is they regulate the economy. They let private capitalists still own and run the business.
Private ownership.
They let private capitalists hire workers. They let the market basically distribute things, but with a heavy dose of government regulation to make it all work out less unequally, to make it work out less unfairly. Social democracy. Meanwhile, the other kind of socialism, which took the name communism, went further. The government didn't allow private capitalists to continue. It pushed them out. The government took over the ownership and operation of businesses.
So think about communist, total government control, total government ownership. When you think of communism, you think of or socialism, you think of, yes, the illusion of private. Yes, you own your private business. But the government owns the overall means of productions and tells you how to work within that business. So is it really private ownership? In a way it is, in a way it isn't. Again, one step closer from total government control. This is why they're pushing socialism in America right now, because it's going to give them that. They're gradually trying to chip away at America. If you just came in and said, we're going to be communists, we're communists, we're just going to take over America, we're running as a communist. You can't do that because that would wake a lot of people up. You got to deceive them through socialism. And so socialism is, the government kind of is still in control of national things like railroads, and tell me how that's worked out when the government's in control of anything. How's the U.S. mailing system compared to UPS or FedEx? How's the railroads? They got a freaking, they're doing it right in China. They got the bullet train, right? But really, China has its own issues. But how's Amtrak? How's the U.S. railroad system? Why don't we have train? Like our railroads are a mess. That's proof to the government's in control of that.
Yeah, the government's inefficient at everything, and they have so many people doing the same job, but they're all, they're not doing their job.
Exactly. And so let's the end of this is key. I want you guys to listen to the end of this.
And had planned distributions and didn't leave very much to the market. Okay? That's what socialism was in the 20th century. But here was the problem. If you give socialist governments the kind of power that you gave in Russia and China, and if you give them the kind of power in Scandinavia and elsewhere to regulate, you create tensions. In the communist world, the tension was the government had so much power, the danger was it would use it for political ends that were not socialist.
Tiananmen Square,
and that indeed often happened. In Scandinavian-type social democracies, the government's attempt to regulate was undone by the pushback of the private capitalists who didn't want their profits limited. And so over time, there was a reaction in the communist countries against the political problems of a powerful state, and there was the undoing of social democracy by the resistance of capitalists. So that by the end of the 20th century, social democracies were in retreat, the Soviet Union had collapsed, and China had changed. Everyone saw all of this, including the socialists. And so they asked themselves the following key question.
Listen to this.
What went wrong? What is it that made the communist countries collapse? What is it that made social democracies begin to go into retreat? What was missing from the old socialism that a new socialism has to learn from and fix? And here it is.
Listen.
The problem that socialists discovered was that the changes made at the level of who owns the means of production and at the level of market versus planning in distribution left unchanged something that should never have been left unchanged.
It didn't go far enough, is what he's saying. The socialists, democratic socialists, believed that the government didn't go far enough in controlling the private ownership and the private, the businesses. They didn't go far enough with regulation. It's literally like they weren't communist enough. They want to give government more control. And again, socialism sounds good if people were perfect. If we had Jesus come down and he ran a socialist, it would be the best economy, better than capitalism. But the fact is, we don't. And humans are shown historically to abuse their power. And that is the problem with socialism. It sounds fair. It sounds great for the people, but it's not. It's an illusion that it's fair and free and the people are going to be lifted up. But actually, socialism, there's a difference between and we'll come off this, Steve, and I'll get your thoughts real quick. But you have to understand socialism and all these different systems, they revolve around these key words, which is equity and equality. Equality is the opportunity, like equal opportunity, right? Equity is equal outcomes. And that is the problem with these leftists pushing socialism. They believe everybody should have equal outcomes. If I grew up poor and this guy grew up poor, but he worked harder than me, there's no reason why that hard work should. And this is it. This is the difference. I should not, just because I didn't want to follow that path and pull myself up by my bootstraps, there should be no reason why he should be richer than me, because that's not fair. And that's what they're teaching in schools. Life isn't fair. So to make it fair, we have to bring everybody to the same level, equity. That's not what America was founded on. That's not how some of the biggest companies like SpaceX and Tesla, Elon Musk, Meta, some of the biggest tech companies, some of the most influential companies in the world have come from free enterprise in the United States. It has come from allowing people to be free to work. If you work hard, you're going to be rewarded. And that is not what's being taught to our kids today, Steve, right? It's not being taught to our kids.
Equal opportunity does not mean equal outcome. And if you're like a business owner, what business owner wants to go into business and do business to break even? You want to go make a profit. You want to, to support your family. And even if you're in a business that's can make a lot of money, go make a lot of money.
Man, it's frustrating because You know, you have these schools that are like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to tell you, is life's not fair, kids. It's not fair. But guess what? If I can grow up in a family of 10 where our dad worked at a grocery store at $16 an hour while my mom stayed at home, and I can work my butt off to get where I'm at, just like many of you, why should we be punished because we wanted to work harder and we wanted something better for our life? That's the American dream. The American dream is not you just coast by and the government gives you food stamps and free stuff and you don't have to work hard. We'll just give you handouts. That's not the American dream. Now, I believe, and a lot of conservatives don't agree with me on this, I believe in EBT and SNAP benefits when you need them. I've used EBT and SNAP in the past when I needed them in between jobs as a single dad raising a daughter. I needed, and that was great. That was where the government comes and assists, right? That's that limited government we talked about. They're there when we need them, but they are not there to control our lives and tell us how to live and get everybody on the same playing field. You see why they want to do that? Because they're actual fascists, because they want full control. These people like Zohran Mamdani and all of these other Democrats, they want full control. They want more government control, under the guise of compassion and fairness. There's nothing compassionate and fair about telling, or that's why you saw that guy in that CNN clip. You have to, I worked for it. I have a financial background. I worked for my stuff. There's nothing compassionate and fair about punishing someone for working harder. And that's what socialism does, man. Steve?
Yeah, there's a difference between social programs and socialism.
Right.
The social programs are designed to help, not to support.
Well, Nick Shirley, amazing young man who's just killing it out there, was asking people in New York today what's their favorite social company. Look at this. I mean, this is just what I'm talking about, man. Complete ignorance, and people don't know what they're talking about.
Who are you voting for mayor?
I like Cuomo, but I think Mamdani might be pulling the lead a little bit with me.
What's your favorite example of socialism that's worked?
I don't have a big example of socialism.
Like between Venezuela, Cuba, Soviet Union, what's your favorite one?
Man, you put me on the spot. I'm gonna have to go Cuba. I'm gonna have to go Cuba.
What's he basing that on?
Yeah, let's go there. It's just so complicated for me. I got so much information in my head, but I'm gonna go with that.
Do you think Mamdani's the future of the Democrats?
Nah, brother, you don't have so much information in your head. You have the wrong information in your head, and you don't have the right information.
Democratic Party?
Man, I hope so.
No information.
Who are you voting for?
I mean, and then Nick Shirley says, Grok, what are the current living conditions in Cuba right now? And Grok says, Cuba's living conditions remain dire amid ongoing economic collapse. Nationwide blackouts, some exceeding 20 hours daily, have persisted into 2025 due to fuel shortages and failing power plants, leaving millions without electricity or water. Food and medicine shortages intensify with inflation at 10%. And poverty impacting 40-45% of the residents. Yeah, socialism sounds really good, guys. Let's do more of this. Yeah. Unbelievable, Steve.
It's believable because we're just ignorant. And I say I mean, in general, most people walking the streets are ignorant of what's going on in these other countries.
And let me just tell you this, guys, listen, and this is why these people are pushing for socialism, because free buses sound great. When you're a normal working person, like you're working at a grocery store, you're just like someone in New York living, free buses sound great. Free grocery stores, it sounds great, right? It'd be nice to have free grocery stores. I don't have to go pay, when Walmart jacks up the prices during inflation, I didn't have to go pay $30 for a dozen eggs. It sounds great. It all sounds great. And this is part of the deception that we have to be telling our friends, and we have to be educating people. Just because it sounds great, it doesn't mean the outcome's going to be great. It doesn't mean it's great for the country, because anytime you give government more control, look at Cuba, full socialism, government controls the means of production, and look at what we just read.
Yeah. And what is Cuba's main thing what do they make in Cuba? What is
what's their main
resource? What is their biggest resource?
I don't know. I think I think tourism is a big thing for them. But also,
I don't know if they.
Let's ask Grok. Let's get educated here, because we don't like any answers. Left on whatever.
I think it's Cuban cigars when I hear Cuba.
What is Cuba's main
resource?
Import exports.
Yeah.
And then Grok says the request seems to be about Cuba's imports exports. Yeah, I know. I said that. I want you to answer it. Okay, there we go. It's searching. Why is Grok so slow this morning, Steve?
I have no idea.
Did you do something to Grok?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so Cuba's top exports in 2024 include cigars. A lot of and it's still not giving me an answer. Okay, Grok, is Grok starting to turn him into a communist real quick? Hold on. Okay, featuring machinery, meat, electrical machinery. So yeah, exports. Okay, I'm done with Grok. Bye, Grok. See ya. But this guy, so Nick Shirley talked to this other guy in New York, and he just absolutely hit it on the head. If Zohran Mamdani gets voted in, because I'll just, to finish our point, Steve. What did we just watch? Hold on. Oh yeah, Nick Shirley talking about socialists. So, the guy was like, "Oh, I don't know, Cuba. I think I'm gonna have to go with Cuba as my favorite socialist country." Like I said, the free groceries, the free everything sounds good, but anytime you're giving government more control over you, they're going to control everything else, every other aspect in your life, and it's never historically ended up in a good spot. So, Nick Shirley talked to this guy here. This is going to make you have faith in New York again. This guy really laid it out. If Zohran wins, look at this.
Who are you voting for mayor?
It doesn't matter who you want to be mayor. You vote for who you don't want to be mayor. And you do not want Zohran Mamdani, whatever his name is, to be anywhere close to that office. There are easily 3 distinct reasons, but really more, that you do not want that. And people don't understand what it's like to elect a Muslim socialist until they elect a Muslim socialist. You could ask our friends in London, how many years has Sadiq Khan been mayor there? How's that going?
What do you think will happen in New York City if Zohran does win?
There'll be a few immediate things. One, if you're Jewish or Christian, you're going to feel extremely unsafe. You're going to be looking at a lot of these sort of Muslim street and Antifa style element behaving like complete animals because they no longer have any limitations.
We're going to show you Zohran Mamdani clip of him acting like a complete animal when he was menacing and harassing Tom Homan. I don't know if you guys saw that clip a few months ago, but we're going to show you. We're going to show you exactly who Zohran Mamdani is here in just a
Police
second.
are on their side, right? Second of all, you're going to see tremendous crime. Those same liberal white girls that are probably going to be why Mamdani wins, if he does, are going to be the first on the chopping block. And it's going to be awfully satisfying, grimly so, when they're the ones getting harassed in the subway, because guess what? They're the first in line.
So you guys are probably wondering, and this guy, I love this guy, but you guys are probably wondering, if the people are thriving and we're giving free grocery stores and we're giving free buses and all that kind of stuff, you have to understand someone has to pay for those things. And so when you give out free stuff as the government, who do you think's going to pay for those things? How is the government funded? It's funded by taxpayers like you and I. It's funded by us. We are going to end up paying for it. So although free groceries and free bus rides sound great because the people, are going to be, treated fairly and brought up, it's actually going to cost us more because what's going to happen to taxes? It's going to go up. What's going to happen to businesses in New York? They're going to start leaving New York. Look at downtown Portland. There's not a business that wants to do business in Portland because of their taxes and the unsafe, the public safety threats that these communists, I would say, here in Portland are tying the hands of our Portland police, and they're also taxing us to hell because people are leaving the city. And because they're giving out how many millions of dollars does Oregon and cities like Portland give to illegals every year? Someone has to pay for it, and it's always us, you guys. This is the deception of what I'm talking about. Free buses, free grocery stores have to be paid by somebody. They're going to increase your taxes. And if they're not increasing our taxes, they're going to increase the billionaires' taxes and the corporations' taxes. Who's going to pay for that? What do you think the corporation, the billionaires are going to do? They're going to pass the costs on to you. This is economics 101 right now, you guys. They still teach this. They can't hide this fact that the economy works together. It's a cycle. The economy works. It all works together, right? So there's a cause and effect. There's a cause and effect aspect of the economy. When something happens, it's going to affect something else. When you raise taxes on billionaires and you raise tax, not saying billionaires need to be just let off the hook and they just need to be, that's the extreme capitalism, and that's got us. That's why we have antitrust laws. That's why we have all these laws that keep those guys in check. But when you see Trump giving tax breaks to businesses and corporations and stuff, he always gives. He doesn't just give them the tax break just so they can have more money. He says, "I'm going to give you this tax break, but you have to invest. You have to create jobs for the American worker, and not just good jobs, but good paying jobs. And you have to invest in America." That's why it's good. He keeps these billionaires and these corporations in check when he gives them these tax breaks. That's not what the left's telling you. They're telling him, oh, he's just giving his buddies a tax break, and he's just giving his buddies, his Wall Street people and his corporations. He's just rubbing the backs of his friends. That's not what's happening. It's investing back into the American workforce. And again, is it perfect? Is capitalism perfect? It's not, but it's the best. It's what's got us where we're at today. It's why America is still the greatest economy and the greatest country in the United States. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, but you talk about the tax breaks and stuff like that for these entrepreneurs and the business owners, the ones that are out there putting the money up to risk it, to put in a business, to employ people. That's why cities and states give big tax breaks. Like the California companies that are moving to Texas get big tax breaks from the state, so because they're going to employ a bunch of people,
right? And
so I'm okay with that if that's what it gets them to come into your community to provide jobs and stuff for your community. That's what you do. Right. That's what happened in New York with the Amazon or was it New Jersey wherever AOC shut Amazon down from coming into, wherever that was at.
Yeah, the Amazon in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so just to recap, okay, you have socialism. That means the government owns like the big stuff, right? The railroads, the mail system, maybe even has control over some of the big, national companies, whatever. But it still means private ownership where you can still have your own private business, but the government's in control of kind of how you conduct that business. So is it really private ownership? I would argue no. And then communism goes a step further where it's like the government's like, no, we're going to take control. We're going to own your business. We're going to own all this. We own everything, right? So it's just socialism, bigger government, communism, even bigger government. And then it ultimately leads to fascism, which is like, a form of authoritarianism where it's just like completely national, where it puts the national interests above the will of the people. That's what we saw in Italy in World War II. That's what we saw, with almost what we saw with Nazi Germany, except Nazi Germany was more of like a race-based fascism where Hitler just hated everybody except, Germans, like Nazi Germany. But I will say this, and that's why they try to twist it against Trump. They try to say Trump's the fascist because he's being proud to be an American. It's such a lie. It's such a lie, and it's so deceiving, you guys, and people are falling for it because it has similarities to Italy in World War II and Nazi Germany. No, dude, Trump is not trying to say, well, we're going to put America's needs and we're going to put America above the will of the people. That's not what he's saying. He's in fact trying to find ways to make the American people prosper and be proud of their country. And also, if if Trump was a fascist, he would be closing down immigration as a whole. He'd be closing down it would just be, the borders would be closed, immigration would be done away with, and we just work with the people we have here. There are some people on the right that believe that, but that is not what Trump believes. America is one of the least fascist countries in the nation because we allow people from all parts of the world to come here to be part of that American dream. That's not fascism. Now, we want you to be proud of that and be proud of that red, white, and blue and be proud of that flag. That's not fascism. That's national pride in what makes us America. It's such a lie what they're trying to tell you. And it's just another way that they're trying to use that Trojan horse like Zohran Mamdani and the whole fascist, calling Trump a fascist and a dictator. Those are all Trojan horses to destroy us from within. And it's why we need to speak up. It's why we need to keep fighting against this. Steve, do you have anything before we move on?
If Trump was a fascist, he would already have the government back open. He would do it himself. He would just open it up. Government's open. We're paying him.
Right, exactly. Well, let's
I'm
go.
afraid he might do that, though. I don't know.
Let's go to this pinhead, Zohran Mamdani, and let's see. Now he's come. Can you believe it? So now that you're kind of educated on communism and socialism, you're seeing him go, I'm not a communist. I'm not a communist. I'm a democratic socialist. Democratic socialist just is the socialist. One step away from communism, remember. Okay. Now you're going to see this guy backtrack on election day and say, well, I don't want free grocery stores. I want less groceries. I want prices to go down on groceries. Look at what this guy has to say. He's totally backtracking on what he's been campaigning on.
Question affordability in this city. Living here is top of everyone's mind. It has gotten obscenely expensive to live here, to do anything here. So you're proposing free grocery stores, free buses, $30 minimum wage, all of which sounds incredible.
Cheaper groceries, not free groceries.
Excuse me, cheaper groceries. But what people want to know is, great, I would love all those things. Yeah, how do you pay for it? Who's going to end up footing the bill for those programs?
So I'll answer that question by first explaining some of the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has received. Elon Musk's endorsement is one of the most expensive endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has ever gotten because it cost him and the state of New York $959 million in tax breaks that he gave Elon Musk years ago when he was the governor of this state. That's actually more money than it would cost to make every bus free in New York City. So I've said...
Can I just say real quick, because I really don't want to hear this guy talk as much as possible because it's just lies that comes out of his mouth. Now, we set the tone for you here earlier in the episode. We educated all of us on how socialists view the world, how they what a socialist is, what a communist is. Now, are you starting to see through this guy a little bit more? How he talks about Elon Musk getting tax breaks, like Elon Musk is pocketing all 900 million of that tax breaks. No, he's investing it back into America. Look at what giving Elon Musk has done, a tax break has done for America. Elon Musk, Starlink. Look at what he's done with SpaceX. Look at all. Like when you allow business entrepreneurs and businesses to be free to kind of, you get Meta, you get Facebook, you get YouTube, you get all of these businesses that have been created in the United States. When you allow people to have free reign over and not punish them for working hard. Elon Musk is like one of the hardest working dudes. It's why he's like one of the richest guys in the world, because he worked hard to get there. And I'm pretty sure if you go look at how much he's given to charity and how much he's like set up Starlink at his own expense in other countries, that is the beauty of capitalism. When you allow these guys, now is every person, every entrepreneur, every billionaire going to be like Elon Musk? No. George Soros is a good example.
Yeah.
Right. But that's where you have the government to kind of oversee that a little bit. And if they get out of control, you rein them back in a little bit, right? So that they don't abuse capitalism. But giving tax breaks to Elon Musk has helped America. He's invested back he opened up the new plant in Texas, more jobs. I mean, this guy right here, he is such a liar and a deceiver. And it's so crazy that he's so, look at where we paused the video. He's like, looks demonic. It's crazy.
Clearly that I believe we should tax the top 1%, an additional 2%. That's New Yorkers making $1 million or more a year, and have the most profitable corporations pay the same tax rate they do at the top tier in New Jersey, what they would actually pay here in New York. These things together would pay for the entirety of our economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city. Because as you've said, the endorsements that Andrew Cuomo has got, and this morning he started it by going on Fox and Friends. We're talking about Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and Stephen Miller. These are
he's trying to get the powerful people, the powerful American people that aren't tied to government. He's trying to get them out of the way. That's why they attack these billionaires. That's why they want to tax all these rich people. He wants to tax them because he thinks it's, and people are deceived thinking that's going to, he wants to get that majority of the vote of the people. He wants to, and he has it. I mean, this guy's projected to win. He's projected to win.
And in the long run, it would be cheaper for these guys. It would be cheaper for those guys if he taxes them like that to pull their businesses out of those states, which I think they would do immediately.
Yeah, which is like what we've been seeing in California. But also this guy, again, now that you kind of see through him, based on the education we just all received, you see that this guy is trying to get these powerful people out of the way and get them under control so that he can take control and so that he can give government more control. That you're seeing the plan here, folks. I mean, it's such a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Architects.
Well, he was on, when worse comes to worse, when you're on the ropes, or what do these Democrats do? They claim victimhood, right? Look at all of a sudden there's bomb threats, and who's he going to blame it on? He's going to blame it on Trump. Listen, they had bomb threats this morning reported at New Jersey polling places, and Zohran blames it on Trump.
Incredibly concerning, and I think that it is an illustration of the attacks we're seeing on our democracy. Sometimes they're blatant and explicit in the manner of these bomb threats, and we have to understand this as part of the general approach the Trump administration has taken to trying to intimidate voters
the one throwing bullets at
with baseless allegations of voter fraud as a means.
How many times have you been shot, Zohran? Because our president has been shot and almost shot twice, but he's been shot once. These guys are so disgusting, Steve, and throw those dancing bananas in the chat. I know we're going to go a little long today, but I think this is really important. And we got to do our ad read here real quick. But these guys, every time, I mean, it's the same playbook every time. It's like when they're against the ropes or like they mess up and do something, it's always, just let's hit that bomb threat button. And, we're receiving death threats and bomb threats because it makes them the victim and it makes them look like they're the ones that are fighting evil. It's so gross, man. Steve, you have anything to say before we shout out Birch Gold?
Yeah, go ahead. Go shout it out. Sorry, I was getting incoming text messages
during the show. I love it. Steve's always I got you. Hey guys, I want to tell you guys about Birch Gold. We have to. These guys support the Chad Prather Show. They're one of our sponsors that really makes this thing go. Really supports us. Text Chad to 989898. I'm going to read this thing to you real quick because they want you to know some important things. When you buy gold and you get free silver. That's a promotion they're running for Veterans Day right now. Every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold right now this month in advance of Veterans Day, they will send you a free Patriot silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Gold is up over 40% since the beginning of this year, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA into physical gold. Plus, they'll send you free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you're current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer just for you. They are waiving custodial fees for the first year of investments of any amount. Man, we love Birch Gold because not only they look out for us, they look out for our veterans. That's something you should just text 989898 to Chad just to thank them for that. And it's no obligation. You're not going to get a bunch of spam stuff. It's a no obligation. When you text 989898, it tells Birch Gold that maybe you are thinking about it, but even if you're not thinking about it, it tells them that people are watching the show, and we have a little over 2,500 live viewers right now. If you guys go text Chad to 989898, it actually really helps out this show. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, tens of thousands of happy customers, many of which are Chad's listeners, I encourage you to diversify your savings into gold. Text Chad to 989898 for a free info kit to claim eligibility for silver without qualifying purchase before the end of the month. Again, text Chad to 989898. Birch Gold, amazing people over at Birch Gold. They're always supporting the show. They're always looking out for us. And the least we can do is just go support them. Go text Chad to 989898. Steve, you have anything before we move on real quick? We have just a couple more clips to show you guys. I want to show you guys exactly who Zohran is. This guy's a radical. He's not just a communist, but he's a radical. And we're going to show you a clip of that. Steve, you have anything?
Yeah, I really need everyone to take this serious about the Birch Gold. Text 989898 to text Chad, CHAD. He spells it Chad or something like that. Text that because otherwise I won't be employed. They pay the bills around here.
So you have Tom Homan, who's trying to make our country safer, right? He's trying to get the criminal illegals out. It was just reported the other day. I know it's happening probably in your state, but in my state, they just arrested another pedophile yesterday. Criminal illegal alien that shouldn't have been here, that had sex crimes against children. And, these are the people that Tom Homan and President Trump are getting out of our country. And look at how the potential next mayor of New York was treating Tom Homan. Look at this. Look at this radical. Absolute lunatic radical. And folks, this could be the next mayor of New York City. This is like why we need to wake the hell up in this country.
He's chest bumping that trooper. Right. He should be put on his ass. Right,
exactly. I mean, that's kind of what was going through my head. But what I was thinking about was like, guys, if this doesn't scare you, that one of the biggest, most prosperous cities in the most iconic cities in America, New York City, is about to be led by this radical right here on your screen, screaming out, chest bumping our law enforcement, who he does. He's one of those guys that believes in police accountability. He doesn't want law enforcement to do his job. It's the same people running Portland. He doesn't believe in law enforcement. He believes law enforcement is part of the fascist thing. Again, another Trojan horse to dismantle our country and dismantle our laws, dismantle the rule of law. Another just Trojan horse to destroy our country. Look at him chest bumping, running and bumping into these troopers, these officers here, while screaming at the top of his lungs at Tom Homan, a guy that is taking dangerous people out of our country that shouldn't have been here in the first place.
I challenge anybody else to go out on the street and chest bump, go up to a cop and do that. Go bump your chest right up into him and screaming. See what happens to you.
Well, you see this report here that nearly 800,000 New Yorkers from my buddy Colin Rugg says that they will leave New York City if Zohran Mamdani wins the mayoral race. According to a new survey, 9% of New Yorkers would definitely leave the city, which currently has a population of 8.5 million. The Daily Mail reported, according to the survey conducted by JL Partners, another 25% people would consider leaving the city if he were elected. Mamdani has voiced that he isn't concerned about about a mass exodus. Of course he's not, because he doesn't care about America. He only cares about giving himself and the government more power from the city, and has a plan to tax businesses even if they leave. Unbelievable. I mean, that's
what
authoritarian and fascist to me, Steve.
That is. That's what California is doing, the same thing, taxing the businesses and people that leave.
Yeah, and here's Mamdani saying it. Don't listen to us or Colin. Listen to this guy from himself. He was on the Breakfast Club a couple months ago talking about this.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. Wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit.
And folks, are you starting to get it now? Are you starting to see this Trojan horse? Are you starting to see that this guy, it's totally taken advantage, Steve, of the ignorant people and these college students that come out of college and these liberal white women who come out and they go, I don't want to work hard and I wasn't given a fair shot. So I'm done trying to work hard. And now I just want to just everything given to me. I mean, that's literally the mindset of the voters that are voting for Zohran Mamdani. And these people, they tap into it because is a lot of what's going on in America today fair? There's a lot of unfairness. Life is not fair, but they are giving the wrong solutions to that. Then telling people, hey, keep working hard. You know how many times I've been screwed in business and been screwed by business partners and friends in my life, Steve? I mean, it's just the name of the game. It sucks. But the more you move on and pull yourself up and work hard, you can get ahead, man. I mean, I'm living proof of it. I grew up literally in a pretty low income family. And I was able to get myself because of hard work. Was it fun? Was the hard work fun? No, there's a lot of nights where I was like eating burgers because I was so depressed. But that's part of it. That's part of the American dream. It will pay off. And a lot of these kids are being taught that, nope, you don't have to go through that. You should just be given all this stuff. And that's what Zohran is tapping into. Let's tax the billionaires. Let's tax all these guys because it's not fair that they make that much money and that you're not making a lot. It's literally class warfare is what they're teaching these people, and they're falling for it hook, line, and sinker. It's disgusting. We have a couple pinheads. Do you have anything to add?
No, you go right ahead. Let's do some pinheads.
Man, we got to get some pinheads in here. We got this guy. Let's get into the pinheads of the day, baby. So we have this guy, Steve, that is a loud Zohran Mamdani supporter calling himself a communist. I mean, a lot of these people just don't even care. They're not even hiding it. And look what he had to say. Look at this. This is not like satire. This is real.
So you get on CommieCod, and once you get your CommieCod, I can send you a referral link. I can get you on CommieCod. Once you get on CommieCod, everything in the whole fucking shits will be free. Okay, you go into any store, anything.
You support communism. What attracts you to communism?
What attracts me? Just free. I like when everything's free and I don't have to do anything. That sounds like a
retard.
Anything free in particular? You're looking
free hookers, free fucking prostitutes, free fucking flaming hot Cheetah, free Jägermeister, free fucking mob.
When you can tell kids and you can indoctrinate kids for 4 years. So I'm telling parents, stop sending your kids to college. And if they're going to send them to college, send them to a solid Christian college, not like George Fox University here in Newburgh, Oregon. You don't send them there. You send them to a private. You send them to a solid Christian college. You ask around. You ask parents. You ask graduates, because this is the result of 4 years of indoctrination, and even years before that in high school and in the public schools today, in high school, middle schools. They are indoctrinating our kids to come out and think like this. This is literally exactly what I was talking about. They come out and say, I just like free, and I don't want to work for nothing. So I'm going to support people like Zohran. They have no idea the implications of Zohran Mamdani's communist, socialist policies will have on a society. And they don't want to, and that's why you see these people go, well, I like Cuba. It's like my favorite social. They just are so ignorant. And that's what these colleges do. They teach these kids what to think, not how to think. And they teach these kids that life's not fair and equity. We all should have equal outcomes. That is not the American dream, folks. Steve, you have anything to add to that?
No, go right ahead. I like these pinheads.
And here's these other pinheads. These are the people that should know better. I think boomer liberals, they make less sense to me than like a dude that identifies as two-spirited, queer, like those people, right? Like those people are I just like, what am I hearing? What am I looking at? These people actually make less sense to me. Boomer liberals. How can you be alive for so long and actually witness some of these things and be alive in a time of Tiananmen Square and be alive during a time of maybe these guys were born in, I don't know when they're, I don't know, maybe they were born in the 40s or 50s. I don't know, but you were born in an era where you should know better, where you've seen some of these policies not work, and you somehow say stuff like this.
And what about the government-run grocery stores? Do you think that that's a model that could work?
Yes.
And
I
why?
think there's too many hungry people and too many potatoes here that are $5 a pound.
Yeah, you got to lower the prices. Is there anything else about Zohran that gets you excited about him?
I'm excited that he gets young people excited, and I'm excited to see people standing in line, hopefully, to vote for something new.
And last thing, the number one comment I get on some of my videos is that socialism doesn't work. It's been tried many times. Why do you think it'll work?
This isn't socialism he's talking about, social democracy. Government should work to encourage people to thrive and be successful. Everybody thrive. It shouldn't be a matter of it should be equality, not supremacy. It should be a matter of bringing everybody up.
Yeah.
Now that you're watching this, if you've been with us the whole show, we gave you like a lesson on fascism, socialism, communism, the differences. I've tried to, hopefully I've explained it as clear as I can. But now that you're watching this, do you now see through it? Do you now see why a lot of us like freak out and get on, TV and are passionate about this stuff? Because you heard what they said right there. He said equality. It's not equality. It's equity he's talking about, which is equal opportunity outcomes, equal outcomes, not equal opportunity. I believe that a lot of us, and there are some people that are born in, affluent families that have maybe are born, in a family that they do have a step up on others, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to be successful. That doesn't always mean that the people at the bottom, like me, low income, cannot get to where they're at and cannot work their butt. And yes, is that unfair? Yes. I grew up with kids in school, Steve, that were came from families of millionaires and came from families where their parents owned like car dealerships and they were really well off. And here I am, my dad, they could barely afford to buy me soccer shoes when I was playing soccer. And, what do you want? Like, I could have been like, hey, this isn't fair, so I'm going to vote for someone like Zohran so we can level the playing field. But honestly, if that were the case, if socialism was implemented at me growing up as a kid, I would have never stood a chance to get where I'm at, because I thrived in a capitalist economy, and I thrived in a place where the people at the bottom had the best chance to get up to get to that point. So you have these boomer liberals who are literally just like, I honestly believe, Steve, that they don't believe what they're saying, that they just hate Trump so much that they're willing to just like almost on purpose be ignorant and be blind to what's going on.
This is absolutely an anti-Trump mindset. Anything the total opposite of Donald Trump because of Trump. And you were talking about the success thing. Probably most of the successful people that I know grew up much, I would say, on the poverty line.
Yeah.
And but they were doers and just out there doing business. And I wish I knew that kind of. I wish I knew how to run a business. I'm not business minded.
None of us are, man. We had to go to school to learn some of that stuff. I mean, one thing I will give college, like I disagree with Charlie Kirk where he says college is a scam. I think in a lot of ways it's a scam, but in a lot of ways it can help you. It just depends on which college you go to. I learned a lot in college about business. I learned a lot about marketing. I wouldn't be where I am today without college. And so I can't fully be there with Charlie Kirk. God rest his soul. Love him. Hero. Much better man than me. But I always disagreed with him on that, which is like, college is a scam. I don't think it's fully a scam, but I think a lot of what they push in college is a scam. And it can be a scam to a lot of kids if they go in unprepared by parents on how to stand for things and what to look for. So anyways, Party Foul, we have to get out of here. We're like 15 minutes over. I had a good time. I don't know about you.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Yeah. You like to talk a whole lot more than you think you do.
Yeah. Well, when it's something like this, I want to make sure people are clear on what is being pushed out there. And I felt like this was an episode we should have gone a little bit long on. So Steve, how can they find you, and any last words?
At Party Foul Steve on all the social medias, and on Venmo.
On Venmo, ladies and gentlemen, Party Foul Steve, capitalist Party Foul Steve, promoting capitalism right there at the end of the show. I don't have a final word for you. I have a final thought. And because we're a little bit over and I want to get you guys off on your day. And, we got stuff to do around here. But I want to tell you something, guys. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. And not just with Zohran Mamdani, who probably will become the next mayor. I mean, all the polls are showing he's going to become the next mayor of New York. So crazy. Not only is he a danger to that city because of his economic policies, his socialist, communist policies, he wants more control, but because of, his religious, in my opinion, his religious beliefs. And you can go look up, there's clips about that. There's clips of him with imams, radical imams who literally believe that, gays and all these people should be thrown off a cliff. It's dangerous. We're in a dangerous time, folks. And deception is going to increase in our country, in your community. And the question that you have to ask you and your family is, are you going to be able to stand up against it? Do you have the courage to stop being silent? Silence and complacency has gotten us where we're at. It's gotten us people like Zohran Mamdani. It's gotten us people like AOC. It's gotten us people like Ilhan Omar. It got us Biden for 4 years, whatever you say about the 2020 election. It got us Obama. Folks, we are on a dangerous path and we have to keep speaking up. We have to keep, share this video, like and subscribe to Chad's channel, support what he's doing, support what many people like him are doing out there in America. Many of us, a lot of us don't just come on here to just talk because we like to hear ourselves talk. We come on here because there's not enough of us pushing back against this craziness that is trying to take out our country. Our founding fathers are turning in their graves right now with some of the stuff that is being promoted and pushed by our own government, by our own politicians, by some of the people and our educators. They're turning in their graves because that's not the Constitution that they wrote. That's not the vision they had for America. Socialism, communism is not American. It's anti-American. And I encourage you, if you're just joining us or you joined us late, go back and look at. We played a clip. We kind of laid it out there on what these dangerous ideologies and worldviews look like. And so, don't be deceived. If you're a Christian, I'm a Christian. Sometimes you're going to look to You're going to look to President Trump, and you're going to be like, none of this makes sense. None of what he's saying makes sense, or none of what I'm seeing in the world. I'm so confused. What do I believe? That's where you have the Lord and God and Jesus to fall back on, and His Word, His Bible that He gives us. I'm telling you, man. Sometimes I find myself just praying, Lord, I'm so confused. I don't know what's going on. I did that during COVID, during Operation Warp Speed, when Trump was pushing, the jabs, and I was like confused. I was like, Lord, what is going on? And He'll give you the answers. He'll give you the answers, and He'll give you a way out. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. And thank you for always supporting Chad. Amazing guy. He's very important in my life. I know he gave me crap for not mentioning him in my speech the other night, but out of all the people I mentioned, Chad is the most important in my life right now because of just what he means to me as a brother, not just as a client, but as a brother. And I'm honored to be his producer. I'm honored to be part of his team and what he's doing, especially with his Before the Noise, you guys. If you're not watching Before the Noise, at 8 a.m. Eastern every Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central, 5 a.m. Pacific. You can go to beforethenoise.com to catch up on episodes and just go support him. These are so good. I've been hearing from people, followers of mine, that have been like, man, his Before the Noises are just amazing. So I'm starting to flash here. I don't know what's going on with Evie with our system here, but I'm going to get off. I'm David Medina. Follow me at David Medina PDX across all social media. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one, folks. Have a great day, and do not vote for socialism. Do not vote for communism. Stand against it. Zohran Mamdani is a fraud, and he must not win. We'll see you next time, folks.